Hey guys, welcome back. While I was working on that, I was trying to redo all this. I think I like how this turned out a lot better than my original video. So I hope you guys like it. Let me know. So let's pick up where we left off after part one. So part two, we're going to start off with the Yule. Other than Saturnalia, one of the festivals that had a huge influence on Christmas was the Yule. Celebrated largely by the Norse people in Northern Europe, many of the old Yule traditions have become Christmas traditions today. The celebrations lasted for 12 days, and huge bonfires were lit. Feasting and drinking were a big part of the celebrations. The night before Yule was called Mother's Night. The Yule tree was decorated around the time of the winter solstice, and the Yule log was would be lit so that families would feast and be merry by the fire all night. The Yule ham was a huge aspect of this celebration, since the boar was sacred to the Volnir god Frey. The Christians have appropriated many of these traditions to celebrate Christmas. So here you can see again how Norse, the old Norse ways, is integrated into the modern Christmas that we know now. Another important pagan holiday during the winter solstice was the birthday of the Greek god Dionysus. The Greek god of wine was celebrated with wild revelry, feasting, drunkenness, and merrymaking after 12 days. His birthday was supposed to be on the 25th of December. Well, there's that date again, 25th of December. The festival was called, and I'm going to butcher this probably, Bacchanala, and was one marked by wildness and excess. In Finland, the sun goddess Beu was Biwi was celebrated during this time. She was said to ride a sleigh made of reindeer bones and pulled by a white reindeer. Perhaps she was the persona of Santa Claus. So you can see right there where some more of that's integrated into Santa Claus and reindeer, not just by Odin, but by Biwi as well. The Slavic people had the Slavic people too had their own winter solstice festivals, and I'm going to butcher this again. Karakun is a pagan holiday that is celebrated in honor of the black god Shronoborg. Very similar to the Samhain and Halloween. This was the day when all Slavic gods associated with darkness and decay were most potent. However, the white god of the sun, or the white god or the sun god, is resurrected the next day and triumphs again. Ancient Slavs lit fires in the cemeteries and crossroads on this day to keep their loved ones warm. Feasts were organized to honor the dead and feed them. These practices have merged with modern Christmas traditions. So, I mean, that's where we get into a lot of stuff of what we do. You can see here where there are other countries and other religions of their old ways did the same thing. Winter solstice. Many of Christmas traditions that we celebrate today are descended from pagan traditions. This includes the practice of engaging or exchanging gifts, decorating the house and trees, door to door carols, the use of holly and mistletoe, and even the kind of food that is usually prepared. For instance, the Yule log, a cake commonly eaten in Western Europe, is more symbolic than anything now, meant to invoke the bonfires of ages past. So I do remember as a kid, sometimes we had a Yule log that we all ate from that Grandma would make. So that's kind of where that comes in. The Christmas tree. A huge part of modern Christmas is decorating the Christmas tree. Modern Christmas trees probably originated in Germany during the Renaissance. The lighting of candles on evergreen trees in order to celebrate Christmas is something traced back to the Protestant reformer Martin Luther. However, the Christmas tree has a much more ancient predecessor. The Romans used to hang small metal ornaments on trees outside of their home during Saturnalia. Each ornament had some kind of association with a god or even the family's patron saint. The Roman poet Claudius is in his poem "Marriage of Peleus and uh, Thetis" spoke of the gods decorating the home of Peleus with evergreen trees like laurel and cypress. Evergreen trees and wreaths and garlands made of them were significant to Egyptians, Hebrews, and the Chinese. They represent eternal life. So you can see there how the evergreen tree, yes, it was played in, was used by the Norse as well, but other civilizations across the world too for the same purposes. So how everything was familiar. For the early Germanic tribes, decorating trees with fruits and candles in honor of Odin was a common practice. Trees were very important to Norse mythology because of Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil is the tree of life. It's the great tree. All the 9 realms are connected to Yggdrasil, and the roots go into 3 different realms which feed from eternal wells. Uh, the Vikings and the Saxons worship trees. Early Germanic folklore about Saint Boniface and Donar's oak talk. Yeah, Donar's oak talk of how an evergreen tree grew in the place of the felled oak. The triangular shape was supposed to be the representation of the Trinity and an indication to look towards heaven. Thus, we can conclude that the Christmas traditions of setting up a tree is rooted into ancient pagan beliefs. So you can see how that kind of plays in, like I was talking about with Norse along with Roman. Everything is a symbol, everything's a representation. And until you see those symbols and those representations, you don't know what they actually mean. You just know what so and so told you or this corporation told you. We need to know the truth behind everything. Uh, gift giving of gifts and caroling. Gift giving is a common practice during most festivals. These are occasions where we can show our affections to our loved ones in the form of material presents. Leaving Christmas gifts under the Christmas tree might be a very modern practice, but the very act of giving gifts to our family is as old as humans themselves. So even though it is the same as it always been, we just kind of altered it a little bit and added our own touch to it. The gift giving is not a very new concept at all. In fact, it's not just in Christmas that it's done. The Romans gave each other small gifts during Saturnalia in the hope of the bountiful harvest of the next day. It was a way of wishing each other good luck. Even Christmas carols have ancient roots. The Christmas carols in themselves and their lyrics might be more modern, but the tradition is probably Anglo-Saxon. The Anglo-Saxon tradition of going door to door and singing to their neighbors was called wassailing. Uh, it came from the phrase "ways hell," meaning good health. Every year, the singers would roam around the village in small groups, serenading their neighbors and wishing away evil spirits and bad health. Way sailors usually carried a traditional drink with them made from mulled ale, roasted apples, spices, eggs, sugar, and curdled cream. Sounds like a very Christmassy drink, does not? Eggnog, people. Eggnog. Now you know where eggnog comes from. That's what, man, I love eggnog. uh, St. Francis in the 13th century took inspiration from the way sailors and began the Christmas tradition of door to door carolers. So you can see here how Christians took way sailors and turned it into Christmas carols and stuff like that. You can see where this starts, and it all started around the 13th century. The holly and the mistletoe. These are some very fun and interesting stuff. I think you guys will like this. Holly and mistletoe are both sacred plants for the pagans. Kissing under the mistletoe and decorating homes with holly were originally pagan traditions. Now they have become such a staple part of Christmas that it would be difficult to imagine the holiday without them. During Saturnalia, the Romans would exchange wreaths made of holly for good luck. So here's where your wreath comes into play, your Christmas wreath. And what it actually means, it actually means good luck. Holly was a holy plant that was associated with Saturn, associated with Saturn, the god of agriculture. Early Christians were lucky that the festival of Saturnalia almost coincided with Jesus' birth. Since they were often heavily persecuted, Saturnalia gave them a cover to celebrate their own festival without being discovered. And that's a lot of our ancestors did that because they were persecuted for not being Christian. So they would do stuff like this to hide what they were actually doing, making people think that they're celebrating the Christian stuff when actually they're still celebrating the old ways. Sorry, guys, I gotta have my water. Thus, they began to take on this pagan custom and decorate their homes with holly to make it look like they were celebrating Christmas. Okay, yeah, I was talking about what I was just talking about. This made it easier for them to recognize each other in the most midst of their communities. Basically, celebrate amongst their communities without actually being persecuted. They continued to practice even after paganism disappeared from Europe. Kissing under the mistletoe, one of the most popular Christmas traditions, also has its pagan roots. In ancient Norse, Celts, and their Druids were all obsessed with mistletoe to a certain extent. Also, the plant was considered sacred to Saturn, and the ancient Romans would perform fertility rituals under it. In other words, they had sex under the mistletoe plants for the sake of bountiful harvest. A kiss is certainly a step down from that. So you can see how they changed what actually was done with the mistletoe and softened it and changed it. Said this is what it's actually about. When the truth is, people had sex under it. So I mean, it's something to think about when you get to thinking about your mistletoe, which is kind of funny because a lot of times that's usually what happens after someone kisses under it, anyways. For the Druids, mistletoe stood for peace and joy. When two enemies met under a sprig of mistletoe, they were required to drop their weapons and form a truce till the next day. Kissing under the mistletoe is a metaphorical truce of sorts. The plants was supposed to protect one from evil spirits and have magical powers. So, I mean, that's some of that I knew. And then from this, I've actually learned a few other things. So it's kind of cool, man. It really is. In conclusion, As we can see, the ancient Christians incorporated several pagan traditions while celebrating Christmas. Perhaps at the time they did it from a sense of safety. Perhaps it was because they genuinely enjoyed those customs. Looking at these Christmas traditions and the customs, it became even more evident that the early Christians were not really converts from Judaism. Jesus may have been a Jew, but most of his followers were those of the or on the outskirts and fringes of society, and they incorporated the customs they were used to into the festival. So, brothers and sisters, in the end, how we celebrate Christmas is truly up to you. Either way, you are following a tradition, either stolen or not. The modern term paganism is used to describe many of the ancient festivals and beliefs that had been incorporated into a modern theme of Christmas. Go forth and celebrate the birth of Christ. There is no denying that he is the Savior of man. But also remember, the ancient beliefs are not wrong as well. After all, it is not man's place to judge man, but God's place to judge man. Judge ye not, lest ye be judged the same. And that's the end of part 2 from my research. And I hope you find it educational. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we don't know. A lot of stuff I did know, and a lot of stuff I learned while doing this research. So I hope you find it helpful. If you like this video on my YouTube channel, The Bizarre and Unknown, hit that like, share, leave me some comments. Let me know what you guys like. I just wanted to I'm working on a Thanksgiving one too. And my good brother, William Nighthawk, is looking over that, make sure it's right. I'll probably end up doing videos for every season, explaining what they were, how they are incorporated, and how they are brought in. I hope you guys find it entertaining. I really do. I wish the best of luck to you guys. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to y'all. No matter how you celebrate it, just remember the truth and celebrate it correctly. Much love to you guys.